All right, gonna do another collection update, this time for the month of June 2024. And yeah, we've had some pretty decent changes in the collection these past couple months, so I'll just get right on into it. In terms of this shelf over here, I'm pretty sure the only thing that's different is on the Autobot Micromasters display. I got a couple more G1 Micromasters. I got hubs there to go with the with Big Daddy and Trip Up. I got Slowpoke and Hydraulic over there, and then I also finally got Power Run, so I could move Strike Down up from downstairs and actually have them be part of the cannon display here. But otherwise, this is all pretty much the same as before. You should probably dust off this shelf. You can see the footprints of where things have kind of moved around there, but whatever. Moving on over here, literally like a day or two after I shot the last video, I did end up getting the Legacy United Wave 2, 3, I can't remember. 2? Yeah, must be Wave 2 stuff. So finally got Gears in the collection here with my 1984 Autobots. Just missing Windcharger. Hopefully they'll do a new version of him pretty soon. But yeah, that's pretty exciting. I really, really like that figure. He's really a lot of fun. And I'm pretty sure that's it for this shelf here. In terms of this shelf, I think the only thing that's different is just because of how I moved a couple things around. I decided to put Tomahawk here down with my my Wreckers display, just because that's where all of my other movie Autobots are, and he kind of fits in well. Before I didn't put him there just because I thought that the Wreckers already had like a few too many helicopters, but he just wasn't really fitting in with anything else, so I decided to put him there as well. And then moving over to this shelf, I ended up moving all of my sort of miscellaneous extra Autobots that didn't have like a great place to go over to this cubicle here so I could make room for some other stuff. And, it helped to just move Tomahawk out of that display just because, it's already a little bit cramped in here. And I'll probably put these guys eventually elsewhere and maybe split them up a little bit more, but that's where they are for now. And then in terms of the rest of this shelf, I ended up moving, previously they were down there. I ended up moving the like bounty hunter guys up here just to be a little bit more prominent. But that's pretty much it for this shelf. Nothing new with the combiners, obviously. And then this shelf, I think that the only thing is different that is different is that I got Legacy United Silverbolt there to go with my Maximals display, and he's looking super, super great, but that's pretty much it for this shelf as well. And then moving over here, the reason that I had to move my sort of miscellaneous extra Autobots elsewhere is I wanted to swap their place with these guys so I could have my Autobots that are kind of like, who are originated from other continuities and have that shelf over here and give them a little bit more space to breathe, just because I like a lot more of the figures that are in this display. Victorian, I think, still fits in well with them being like a comic book character, so she stayed. But most of these guys were on another shelf before. I also decided to recanonize Drift. I did the review of the Generations Drift a little while ago, and like, yeah, his car mode is a little bit too big to scale with them, but it's going to be a while before we get another Drift. So I decided that, it was close enough that I could recanonize him. And yeah, I got all these guys here. I think that other than that, like all these figures were ones I had before. They're just, now on in this display here. And then moving on over here to the little Rock Lords guys. Obviously, we got Shard this past couple months, and so she's in with them. Shard's a she, right? I can never remember. So there's a hair right there. But yeah, she's with the other Rock Lords guys. We've started to see more of the Rock Lords guys that have been announced, but they're so far all repaints of ones that we already have. So I don't know if I'm gonna get any of those. I might get the one that's in like the 2-pack with Thundertron, just because I ended up passing on the original, Voyager Thundertron there that came out in Legacy United, and this one has a more like toy accurate head sculpt. So I don't know. I might get that one, in which case I'll have another one of the Rock Lordy guys, but yeah, we'll see when that comes out. And then over here, the big difference on this shelf is I finally got Commander Class Magmatron. I cannot believe that this thing exists, but yeah, I ended up having to move these guys over from the tall shelf and put them with him, obviously, and moved away Transmetal 2 Megatron and Optimal Optimus, who were here before. But otherwise, everything is here on this shelf is the same. I'm going to do a review of him pretty soon. Probably that's going to be tomorrow's video. But that's what they all look like together. And then over here, I just ended up pretty much putting these guys where those dinosaurs were before. So just filling the space there. They're a little bit cramped in there, but honestly, it still works pretty well. Like you can still see both of them decently well, which I think is fine. So it's good for now. I'll probably want to put them somewhere else eventually, but it works for now. And then I did end up kind of moving these guys around a little bit, like reconfiguring some of the sort of like, I don't know, extra miscellaneous Decepticons. I decided to put Slicer in the exosuit armor rather than just having them displayed separately, and I move these guys around slightly. I'm just kind of, prepping myself for having to move stuff around for when we eventually get Barrage and Chop Shop to go with Ransack there. They're probably going to need their own shelf, so either he's going to have to move or the other three are going to have to move. I don't know. I just, wanted to reconfigure that section a little bit, but otherwise it's pretty much all the same figures. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the canon Transformers display. As for the non-canon display, we actually did have some decent changes this month as well. I ended up moving the Shockwave and the Soundwave shelves elsewhere to kind of, give them a little bit more space to breathe downstairs. So I ended up replacing and moving some stuff around up here. So pretty sure the Optimus Prime stuff is all the same. The Classics and Universe stuff is the same as last time. And where the Shockwaves were, I now have a Megatron / Galvatron shelf here with Combiner Wars Megatron, Thrilling 30 Legends Megatron, Classics Megatron, and then also that third-party, I forget what the company was called, but Open and Play, something like that, but Big Cannon. They also did Big Spring, which was a Springer one, but he's basically just like an upscaled version of the Titans Return guy with, all the problems of the Titans Return guy removed. It was a fun Galvatron for a while, but obviously the Kingdom one is better, but I've had him for a while. But anyway, that's there, and then these guys are pretty much the same. I actually saw the Origin Wheeljack in the store, and I decided I kind of didn't want it, actually. I don't know, I just didn't really like the way that it looked. So, I don't know, I'm gonna have to rethink this at some point, because having like Wheelie, Bumblebee, and Jazz there looks a little bit weird to me. But Wheelie was really just meant to be a stand-in for Wheeljack, but I don't know, I kind of just don't really want that figure. Maybe if I ever see it on sale, but if it was a deluxe, I probably would. But a Voyager, I don't know, I'm not gonna buy it just for the sake of completing that trio there, but we'll see. And then I ended up moving the sort of Generations-esque Decepticons up here to this cubicle where the Soundwaves were, and then moved some stuff around. This shelf kind of became like a Japanese-inspired characters like Bludgeon and Windblade and RID 2015 Drift there, and then just to kind of fill space, I moved the Spy Changers up here so that this shelf could have a little bit more room to breathe. And then down here, I just moved these guys. They were up here before, but it's all the same figures that were there before. And that's pretty much it for this section over here. On this shelf here, I just ended up moving the original Beast Wars Silverbolt now that I've replaced him with the Legacy United version, but otherwise all of this is the same. And for other things in this room, let's see, that's all the same. This shelf is all the same. Over here, I did end up moving my my vinyl Ugly Dolls downstairs and just replacing them with a few other things, some kind of jumbo Halloween-esque Crazy Bones and some like McDonald's guys that I did a review on a while ago. But other than that, everything over here is pretty much the same as it was before. And then over here in the Masters of the Universe display, I ended up kind of spreading things out and moving the Masterverse stuff downstairs. So now this shelf is pretty much just Origins. So I've kind of spread it out a little bit so that, Sorceress and Zoar and Clamp Champ aren't on top of Castle Grayskull anymore. Just make it look a little bit cleaner. And now he's got his own shelf down here in the Wind Raider, is that what it's called? And then we've got Zor and Adam on the Sky Sled. And then Fisto on top of the horse. I forget what his name is. Strider, is that his name? I don't remember. And Ram Man over there. And then other than that, I think that these are all the same. I mean, obviously, some of the figures that were up here before are now no longer. Now it's just kind of like the sort of main cast up here. But yeah, just giving things, again, just a little bit more space to breathe. And then over here, I ended up putting these guys that I had on that black shelf a while ago over here. I mean, the rest of this is still kind of Masters of the Universe stuff, so it looks maybe a little bit weird to have these guys hanging out up here, but whatever, it's fine. And then I moved the two sort of other Origins guys that I didn't have with the rest of the Origins guys over here with the pop vinyls, and then Pretty sure the Mega Construct stuff is the same as it was before, but yeah, that's pretty much it for this room. And then moving on to the bottom of the stairs here, this is mostly the same as it was before. I just ended up replacing, you know, because I moved Drift up to the Canon display, I just put Generations Skullgrin in his place, but otherwise this is all the same. And then down here on this shelf, I ended up putting the oversized Black Mamba Dinobots in their robot mode, so I could have them both displayed in robot mode and also have, you know, the regular Power of the Primes one displayed in combined mode. And, you know, again, when I end up getting Studio Series Swoop, I'll bring down the Black Mamba Swoop to put down with these guys. Just needed to fill a little bit more space since I moved Combiner Wars Megatron upstairs. But yep, that's pretty much it for this area. Then there's a couple new things in this room. I ended up getting this little wall shelf here, which I actually think is supposed to be like a Christmas ornament that like sits on a table upside down and looks like a little Christmas tree, but it doesn't really have that vibe when you flip it upside down like that. But I ended up putting my like, you know, Pokemon Quest pop vinyls there. That's what that tongue is. I don't know if you've ever seen him. That's it's a sculpture I did in high school, but if you're curious what that was. But yeah, I've got these guys here. And then the other big change to this room is over here. I ended up getting this wall shelf and moving all of my my Shockwaves and my Soundwaves down here. And yeah, I think that this looks really nice. I just wanted to have these guys a little bit, you know, closer to kind of mess around with, because I got that Studio Series Bumblebee movie Shockwave this last month, and yeah, looks super good. And I wanted to just kind of be able to mess around with that figure because I like him a lot. And then I also ended up getting Combiner Wars Shockwave as well, so that, you know, I could put him with them. But yeah, no, I like how this turned out. You know, I think that I might have some issues if I end up getting too many more Shockwaves or Soundwaves, but yeah, for now, this works pretty well. But yeah, that's it for this room. And then in this room, there's not much different on this shelf, but I did end up moving this little designer toy guy from my shelf in the other room in here, just because something weird has happened to the plastic throughout the years and makes him kind of sticky, so he just like collects dust really annoyingly. So I just decided to put him here since this is like a closed case. It'll be a little bit less prone to getting, you know, dust on it. And I just needed to move him off that other shelf for you know, for room for other things. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this shelf. But the other big difference in this room is that I got a new shelf that I put over here that has some fun stuff on it. I ended up putting Toa Likan and the Kikanalo, something like that. That Kikanalo beast, from the you know, second Bionicle movie. I've always really liked these figures, so I decided to put them here. I ended up moving my my, you know, retro Bebop and Rocksteady over here, and then also the vinyl Ugly Dolls. And then this is where I ended up putting my my Masterverse stuff. I got the you know, the good guys up there with the little, you know, mini Castle Grayskull, and my bad guys down here with the little Snake Mountain. And then again, forever just kind of a placeholder, I've moved Debbie down here just before, you know, I find other things that I would actually want to put on the shelf. But yeah, just kind of holding space for now, so I'm not, you know, getting out more things that I don't need to be. So I've got the space if I need it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this room as well. And then last but not least, in the main room here, there are a few differences. On this shelf, I ended up moving my little, you know, Fuggler pop guys over here, because I feel like they fit in fairly well with the Tim Burton guys being relatively spooky. I feel like that they look good there. And then down here in the G1 Transformers display, I got a couple more Micromasters that came in that same lot with, you know, the ones that I have upstairs. I've got Ground Pounder down there, who unfortunately I you know, I would put him in the Canon display, but he's missing a bit. So you know, he's missing like the shovel. And same thing with Crumble. I can't remember if I think that's Crumble, yeah, but he's missing an arm, so I put him down here as well. And then also got a G1 Groundhog? No, Groundhog is definitely the purple one. The Motorhead, yeah, to put him down here as well. And then I ended up moving the, you know, Soundwave, Laserbeak, and Ravage, the, you know, the Toy Colors reissues one, to another shelf, just because I wanted to have them a little bit more prominent, and felt like, you know, there wasn't a ton of extra space down here on the G1 Transformers shelf. But otherwise, I think I had all these figures before. In terms of the TV stand here, I think that literally the only difference is just that I moved Bebop and Rocksteady off, but you know that's not really worth talking about. And then over here on this shelf, the kaiju shelf is all the same, but down here I ended up making this kind of like a sort of classic slash retro robots shelf. So I moved Soundwave, Laserbeak, and Ravage over here, and then obviously got Missing Link Optimus Prime, who I really love having prominently displayed on the shelf. I got him displayed on a flight stand there so I could actually have him doing a pose, because I feel like if you're going to be displaying, you know, Missing Link Optimus Prime, you want him to be doing some ridiculous pose, because like that's the whole gimmick of the figure, is that he's a, you know, G1 figure who can move. But yeah, I moved Rob over here. Toa-Tahu, the, you know, the gift with purchase Lego set, just kept here. I don't know if technically Bionicles are considered robots or not, but I don't know. I still wanted it to be pretty prominent. I put that little you know, wind up robot that I had in the other shelf in the other room over here. My little robot there. I've got the Doctor Who Dalek, and then that wooden robot that a friend gave me a while ago. And yeah, I really like how this shelf turned out. And then moving on over here, I did end up getting a few more Dunnies this month, which I ended up deciding to like actually start splitting them up a little bit, so that I, you know, wasn't just cramming more and more on that same shelf, especially since I already had the Kaiju Dunnies over here, and it felt a little bit weird to have them be the only ones that weren't with the rest of them. So I ended up moving a few of them over here and making this little shelf so that I could actually have, you know, a little bit of height to this area of the display. So I ended up putting, you know, I got the, I pretty much moved the Dunnies over here that were like reminiscent of the styles of like other designer toy artists that I was aware of. So like we got the little Morichak, you know, Gloomy Bear Dunny with the little Gloomy Bear. I moved the Raffies and the, you know, little balloon animals up here, and then these guys are all down here. Again, you know, they're all ones that are vaguely, you know, of other artists that I like from designer toy things, but I don't actually have, you know, designer toys from all of those artists to go with them. But otherwise, you know, mostly the same figures here. I ended up moving the little you know, I forget, Attaboy? Yeah, Attaboy must be the artist who made that, but moving in with the Attaboy asterisks up here so that they could be together. And then, you know, the little cactus pup-esque Dunny over with the little cactus pups. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this shelf. And then speaking of Dunnies, for the rest of them, I ended up getting a few more again, because, you know, I've got a problem. But yeah, I think that this is pretty much going to be from now on the maximum amount of Dunnies that are going to be going on this shelf. And then every time I get any new ones, I'm going to have to decide where else to put them. But some fun new ones. I really like this little skull astronaut guy and this like little flocked one up here, just to name a few. There's a few more than that, but still pretty cool. And then one of the big updates to the display this month that I'm really excited about, and I really like how it turned out, is up here I got the Lego you know, the Lego Ideas insect collection, and made these little shelves to put them on. And I really, really like the way that these models turned out. And yeah, I think that they look pretty nice on these little shelves over here by themselves. But yeah, I didn't mean to rhyme there, but you know, it happens. But yeah, that's pretty much it for over here. And then in the main Lego display, there's a couple differences. Again, you know, because I was close to the $100 threshold of the, you know, getting this little Space Diner gift with purchase, I ended up spending a little bit more. I got a few of the this year's collectible minifigs of the like space themed guys. This guy here with the little tiny aliens, the little space woman over there, and this guy in some weird power suit. And then I also got this little minor drone thing just to kind of fill out that price point so I could afford the gift with purchase little Space Diner here. And then I ended up deciding to make it a little sort of like frame of an exterior, just to kind of give it a little bit more oomph there, give it a little sign, but mostly the interior is the same of what the actual set is supposed to be. But yeah, pretty cool little set there. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the display this month. Again, like lots of changes, like small-ish changes to pretty much every section of the display. Again, I really like how these bugs look on the shelf there. But yeah, no, I'm happy to actually get the Dunnies spread out. Finally getting Magmatron was a big plus. But yeah, some pretty good changes this month, I think. But yeah, again, I probably won't do another one next month, so the next one will be August, I guess. But yeah, If you've watched this far, thank you for watching. If you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I do reviews usually every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Without further ado, here we have my collection update for June of 2024.